So let's cut the crap and dive headfirst into this stack of dusky Wikipedia pages about Vera Lynn. You wanted the lowdown on this Force's sweetheart, right? Get ready for some surprises, because it turns out this broad was way more than just a singing telegram for the troops during WWII.
Yeah, Dame Vera Lynn's story is way more complex than just singing "We'll Meet Again" and cheering up a bunch of homesick soldiers. Her career and influence stretch way beyond those years.
So this chick wasn't some posh princess born with a silver spoon up her ass, right? Where the hell did she come from?
She actually started out pretty rough. Vera Margaret Welch, yeah, that's her real name, was born in East Ham, London, back in 1917. We're talking working class, not exactly high society.
East Ham. Sounds about as glamorous as a public toilet. So how did this chick end up on stage?
Get this. She started performing at 7 years old, belting out tunes in working men's clubs. By 11, she was already using her grandmother's maiden name, Lynn, as her stage name.
Damn, a child star from the wrong side of the tracks. That's some Cinderella shit right there. Yeah. But was it all sunshine and roses for little Vera?
Not quite. She nearly kicked the bucket at 2 years old from croup. It's this nasty respiratory infection scared the shit out of her parents, so they became super strict, wouldn't let her out of their sight.
So basically, they turned her into a goddamn hermit.
Pretty much. But hey, maybe all that time cooped up helped her hone her singing skills. She started working with different bands, touring, and eventually cut her first record in 1935. It's Home, that was the song. And guess what? Same year, she landed her first radio gig. By the time the war kicked off, she was already a known name.
So this chick was already a pro before the bombs started dropping. Then, boom, World War II hits, and suddenly she's the Force's sweetheart. How the hell did that happen?
It's a wild story, actually. The Daily Express, one of those big shot newspapers, ran a poll among the British troops asking who their favorite musical performer was. Vera Lynn blew everyone else out of the water. The nickname stuck, and she became this symbol of hope and resilience for those fighting on the front lines.
All right, so she wins a popularity contest. Big whoop. Does she actually do anything besides warble a few tunes?
Oh, she did way more than just sing. Vera Lynn went above and beyond to entertain the troops. We're talking air raid shelters during the Blitz, military hospitals. She even put on shows in bombed-out theaters.
Damn, this chick had balls of steel, so she was belting out "We'll Meet Again" on repeat, or what?
"We'll Meet Again" is definitely her most iconic song from that era. But she had other hits, too, like The White Cliffs of Dover. And get this, she also hosted this super popular radio show called Sincerely Yours.
Hold up, a radio show? Tell me this shit wasn't some boring-ass talk show about knitting or baking. What the hell was it about?
It was pure gold. She'd read messages from loved ones to British soldiers fighting all over the damn globe.
Okay.
Can you imagine being some homesick grunt stuck in some godforsaken trench, and suddenly you hear Vera Lynn's voice reading a letter from your sweetheart back home?
I guess that would be kind of touching. So did the top brass love this shit? Or were they worried Vera was turning their soldiers into a bunch of blubbering babies?
You wouldn't believe this, but the BBC actually canceled the damn show for 18 months because they thought it was making the soldiers too sentimental. They thought it would make them soft, unable to fight.
Seriously, those asshats wanted their soldiers to be cold-hearted killing machines.
Yeah.
Talk about fucked up priorities.
It's a head-scratcher, right. But eventually, Vera Lynn was back on the air with another show, and her popularity just kept skyrocketing. And get this, she didn't just stay in England.
Oh yeah? Where the hell did she go?
She joined ENSA, the Entertainment's National Service Association. Basically, they sent entertainers all over the place to boost morale among the troops. She went to Egypt, India, even Burma, putting herself right in the thick of it.
Damn, so she wasn't just some pampered pop star, huh?
Yeah.
This chick was practically dodging bullets to sing for the troops.
She wasn't afraid of anything. She visited troops on the front lines, in hospitals, even right before major battles. She was a one-woman morale machine, bringing a little bit of hope and normalcy to those chaotic war zones. She even went to the Burma front right before the Battle of Kohima, one of the bloodiest battles of the entire war. Years later, she got the Burma Star for entertaining those British guerrilla units fighting the Japanese.
Talk about a badass. So on top of all this touring and radio crap, she made some movies too, right?
Yep. 3 wartime movies. One was even loosely based on her life story, a flick called We'll Meet Again. She played a dancer who becomes a radio star, basically, art imitating life. Then there was Rhythm Serenade, where she played a school teacher, and One Exciting Night, where she helped bust some art thieves.
Damn, this chick was a triple threat, singing, radio, and movies. But the war couldn't last forever. What the hell did she do when the whole damn thing was over?
She wanted to chill out, focus on being a mom after having her daughter in 46. But life had other plans. Those bills piled up, and she was stuck with this contract with Decca Records.
Capitalism, man. It's a bitch. So they basically force her ass back into the spotlight.
Pretty much. She did a new radio show for the BBC, but those asshats dropped her after a while.
Really?
They thought her music was too sentimental, wanted her to ditch the sob stuff and sing something more upbeat.
Those BBC wankers were probably still pissed off about Sincerely Yours, making their soldiers all mushy. What did Vera do? Tell them to shove it.
She told them to kiss her ass, basically. She took her talents to Radio Luxembourg, which was a smart move.
Yeah, why the hell not? Stick it to the man. So, what, she just sang the same old wartime tunes for the rest of her career?
Hell no. Vera was always evolving, trying new things. During a musician's strike in the U.S. in '48, Decca saw an opportunity and pushed her records over there. Her song, You Can't Be True, Dear, hit the U.S. top 10.
No shit. So, she was making waves across the pond, too. Was that it for her American adventure, or did she keep kicking ass?
Oh, she kept going, all right. In '52, she hit #1 in the U.S. with Auf Wiedersehen, Sweetheart, a German song. That was a huge fucking deal. First time a British artist topped the U.S. charts. She even snagged 3 spots on the very first UK singles chart that same year and hung her out with Tallulah Bankhead on her U.S. radio show, The Big Show.
From singing in air raid shelters to hobnobbing with Hollywood royalty, this Vera Lynn chick was unstoppable. But she didn't just stick to the hits, right?
Her discography is actually pretty diverse. Remember, back in the day, it was all about singles, those 78 RPM records with just an A and B side. But in the 50s, she started releasing EPs and even some live albums.
Okay.
She went from Decca to MGM Records in 1960 and worked with big names like Jeff Love and Norman Newell. Vera wasn't afraid to branch out. She did hymns, pop, country, even re-recorded her wartime classics for albums like Hits of the Blitz.
So basically, she was a musical chameleon. But what about when she got older? Did she finally hang up the microphone and call it a day?
Vera Lynn never officially retired. Her last recordings were in '91 for a charity supporting the Gulf War. But even after that, she kept making public appearances, especially for events commemorating World War II.
Makes sense. She was basically a living legend by that point. What did she do for the 50th anniversary of VE Day?
Picture this. 1995, outside Buckingham Palace, Vera Lynn, the Force's sweetheart, belting out her iconic tunes in front of a massive crowd. It must have been a hell of a moment.
Goosebumps, dude. Goosebumps. What about the 60th anniversary?
She surprised everyone at a concert in Trafalgar Square in 2005, gave a speech praising the veterans, telling the younger generations to remember their sacrifices. Then she joined in for a few lines of, you guessed it, we'll meet again.
Damn, even in her 80s, this broad was still a powerhouse.
Yeah.
That was actually her last public performance at a VE Day anniversary, though, right?
Right. That same year, she gave her blessing to Catherine Jenkins, the Welsh singer, to carry on the Force's sweetheart tradition. Kind of like passing the torch.
So was she just reliving the glory days in her later years? All war stories and sing-alongs?
Hell no. Vera was still a busy bee. She published her autobiography in '09 and even got into a legal battle with the British National Party.
Wait, what? Those right-wing nutjobs tried to use Vera fucking Lynn for their bullshit.
Yeah, they slapped the White Cliffs of Dover on some anti-immigration album. Vera was pissed off, rightfully so. She sued their asses, saying it made it seem like she supported their views, which she obviously didn't.
Good for her. I bet those BNP wankers were shitting their pants. Did she win?
I don't know the outcome of the lawsuit, but it shows you that Vera Lynn wasn't afraid to stand up for what she believed in, even in her 90s. And speaking of her 90s, remember how we talked about her ridiculously long career?
Yeah, this chick was practically immortal.
Well, get this. In 2009, at 92 years old, she became the oldest living artist to reach #1 on the British album chart. Her compilation, We'll Meet Again. The very best of Vera Lynn blew everyone else out of the water.
92 years old and still topping the charts. Talk about a comeback queen. Was she still making music in her 90s?
She wasn't recording new stuff, but she released a few more compilation albums, including one for her 100th birthday in 2017. It was a massive hit. Even had duets with Alfie Boe and Alexander Armstrong. Vera Lynn was the best-selling female artist in the UK that year. She outsold pop stars like Dua Lipa and Lana Del Rey.
This one was a goddamn phenomenon. Did she win any awards for all this, besides that Burma star?
Oh, tons of them. She became an officer of the Order of the British Empire in '69 and a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in '75 for her charity work. In 2016, she was appointed a member of the Order of the Companions of Honor for her services to entertainment and charity. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, so we've covered her music, her wartime gigs, her crazy long career, and even her legal battles. But this woman was also known for her charity work, right?
Right, again, she was all about giving back, especially to veterans, disabled kids, and breast cancer charities.
So not just a talented singer, but a genuinely good person, too. Starting to feel a little bad about all the broad and chick stuff.
Don't sweat it. I think Vera could handle a little ribbing. She had a good sense of humor. So about those charities.
Yeah, let's hear about those.
In '53, she started SOS, the STARS Organization for Spastics, a cerebral palsy charity. Then in '76, she founded the Vera Lynn Charity Breast Cancer Research Trust.
Sounds like she put her money where her mouth was, not just lending her name to some cause. What else?
She was also president of the Dame Vera Lynn Trust for Children with Cerebral Palsy and a patron of a bunch of other charities, like the Forces Literary Organization Worldwide, the Dover War Memorial Project, and projects to support refugees from Burma. Hell, she even campaigned against pigeon racing with PETA.
Hold up. Vera Lynn, the Force's sweetheart, was hanging out with animal rights activists. That's a bit of mindfuck.
It might seem weird, but she clearly gave a damn about animal welfare. It just goes to show you how multifaceted she was.
Okay, so she was a talented singer, a wartime icon, a chart topper, a dedicated philanthropist, and an animal rights advocate. Is there anything this woman didn't do?
Well, she did have a personal life, you know. She was married to Harry Lewis, a musician she met while working with Ambrose's orchestra.
Ah, she found love with a fellow musician. How sweet. Do they have any kids?
One daughter, Virginia, born in '46. Harry became Vera's manager, and they were married for over 50 years until he died in '98.
Damn, that's a long time. So how did this incredible life come to an end?
Vera Lynn died peacefully in her sleep on June 18th, 2020. She was 103 years old, lived a hell of a life.
103? That's insane. I bet the world went nuts when she died.
Absolutely. Tributes poured in from everywhere, the royal family, politicians, musicians, everyone. She got a full military funeral, complete with a Spitfire flypast and a Royal Marine bugler playing at her service. It was a fitting send-off for a national treasure.
Damn, that's pretty epic. So beyond all the awards and ceremonies, what do you think her legacy is? What will she be remembered for?
It's tough to sum up such a long and impactful life, but I think Vera Lynn will be remembered for her optimism, her ability to connect with everyone, and of course, her music. Her songs still inspire and uplift people today.
Well said. I started this deep dive thinking Vera Lynn was just some old-fashioned singer. But damn, she was so much more than that. She was a badass, a pioneer, and a true icon. I've got a whole new level of respect for her.
I'm glad to hear that. It's always cool to discover the hidden depths of historical figures, especially those who seem so simple on the surface.
Yeah, you never know what you'll find when you start digging deeper. Speaking of digging deeper, we talked about all the different shit Vera Lynn did in her life, but there's one thing that really blew my mind. Remember when we were going through those Wikipedia pages and saw that thing about Pink Floyd?
Oh, yeah, Pink Floyd.
It's pretty fucking wild when you think about it. What's the connection there?
What's interesting is that a band like Pink Floyd, known for their trippy music and anti-establishment views, would reference Vera Lynn, a symbol of wartime Britain, in their music.
It's pretty wild. What's the deal?
They have a song called Vera on their iconic album The Wall, which directly references both Vera Lynn and We'll Meet Again, and they even used We'll Meet Again as an intro to their live performances of The Wall back in the '80s.
That's insane. So they weren't just taking the piss out of her music or anything.
It doesn't seem like it. The way they used her music suggests a genuine appreciation for her legacy, even within their own complex and often dark narrative.
And it wasn't just Vera. Didn't they use another one of her songs in the movie version of The Wall?
Right. The film opens with Vera Lynn's recording of The Little Boy That Santa Claus Forgot. It's a pretty haunting and melancholic song, setting the stage for the whole film.
Talk about range. From wartime anthems to inspiring Pink Floyd, this Vera Lynn chick was everywhere. So what does this all mean? What can we take away from all this info about Vera Lynn?
I think Vera Lynn's story shows us that historical figures are way more complex than we think. She wasn't just the force's sweetheart. She was a savvy businesswoman, a cultural icon who transcended generations, and a symbol of resilience and hope in fucked up times. Her ability to connect with everyone from soldiers to rock stars is pretty remarkable.
Damn, so Vera Lynn wasn't just some goody two-shoes singing for the boys. She was a powerhouse, a chart topper, a philanthropist, and even hung out with some rock and roll badasses. Talk about range.
Indeed. Vera Lynn's legacy goes way beyond that force's sweetheart image. She was a force to be reckoned with in her own right.
Well, there you have it. Bet you didn't expect all that from old Vera, huh? Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go blast some Pink Floyd and ponder the complexities of wartime entertainment.